Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Oh my God, that's so smooth.
Really?
Oh.
This is cool. Now, I was just catching up briefly. Did you put more than one comment in today?
No, I just put, so oh, I should do it, I should do it at the end of the day, but I don't. So it's always when I do it in the morning, which is when I do my stuff, it's really, you know, for yesterday. And I thought, well, I don't have to keep on saying yesterday. It doesn't matter what day it is. I'll just put it down.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And it's good that you're doing it when it feels easier to do it. You know, we're following path of least resistance here. We're not.
Yeah, definitely. If I have to remember to come log on at 5 or 6 for the end of the day, then
No.
Yeah, it's not going to work. The morning is when I journal and I think about the bigger picture.
Yeah. And also, I think what you highlighted there is that it's irrelevant the time. Like time has no meaning in this. When it sounds crazy. It's remarking on the what, not the when.
Yes, that makes sense.
Because you identified that key thing. I just replied, but you probably won't have picked it up yet. But letting go of but, or even noticing but, is a huge thing. It's huge.
It's huge. I know, right?
Yeah.
I know. And it's really weird. I gave the talk at midday. Oh, can I just say before we go on, I have a test run Zoom call at 11 on the dot.
Okay, cool.
Just so you know. So I finished it, and my usual go-to is I don't feel anything, I don't think about it, I probably still feel a bit antsy and stuff. And I thought, no, come on, how did it go? And of course it could have been better and blah blah blah, which is the stuff I usually go for. And I thought I did my best. It went really well, and I really had to consciously, almost like, put a gun to my head and make myself congratulate myself that, you know, that it went well.
Yeah.
And then I felt really good. My body felt good. My body felt light. My head felt good when I did it. And I thought, oh, okay, so this is what it's about.
Yeah.
And then later during the day, I felt quite low and heavy and down. And I kind of stayed like that all night into this morning. And it's interesting, at least I'm noticing it, because before that would have spun me out.
Good.
I have another talk at 12 today. It's the same talk, so a bit like a comic and their stand-up routine. You know, by the time I've done it 4 times, it's going to be shit hot. But maybe that heavy feeling in the body is my butt. I don't know. Because initially I felt really pleased that I, you know, congratulated myself, and it didn't feel false. I could see how there were really good elements, and I can do this, and I do it well.
Yeah.
But I kind of believed it for those few minutes that I said it, and then I suppose I reverted back to my, without me knowing it, reverted back to my default of could have, should have, but.
Yeah. But you used a couple of key phrases there, which were you reverted back to it without knowing it was one, and subconscious. So just remind yourself that that's exactly it. That's the process that you've just begun. So you've got this really powerful neural pathway that goes down a pathway you're not that mad keen on, but it just, you're used to going, like, you always take this route, don't really know another route. That's the route that, you know, it's always through the ugly grey buildings with no light, no colour and no flowers, and it's just shit. But hey, you don't know another route. And then you've just had a glimpse of, oh, there's this other pathway. Like it's like the door opened for a moment and then it closed off again.
That's exactly it, I think.
Yeah. And so your mind probably went into a little bit of overdrive of, you know, it's almost like you get a glimpse of heaven, and then and that can bring you further down initially. You go, oh no, you know, I thought, you know, because we get caught up in the, I knew, I'm not saying this was, but the kind of thing of, I knew it wouldn't work, or it doesn't last,
or it's it's not going to last, you know. It's not going to last.
But someone that I coach with used a nice analogy, which I may have shared with you before, but it's always worth reminding, always worth repeating. And she used the analogy of, I think I have shared this, of writing with, like, you write with your dominant hand. Yeah. That's what you always do. It's easy. You don't think about it, you pick it up, you write. It's like, you can write quickly, you can write whatever you want, whenever you want, how you want. Someone asks you to write with your other hand, it's clunky. It's quite hard work. And so it's easier to just go, I'll do it with the other one. But it is just, to begin with, it's just persisting and
just practice.
But what I would couch that, the only reason I'm not as keen on that analogy, even though I've shared it, is that it makes it sound like you have to consciously work to find those things. And I'm kind of coming from a slightly different place where, yes, you become consciously aware, but I don't want anyone overworking it, which sounds counterintuitive.
No, I get that.
So let me just put today in context, because this is actually the first day.
Okay, I just want to switch off this light. It's in my eyes. Let's hopefully we can still see it. Oh, yeah. Do you mind that I'm a bit dark?
No.
Okay. I don't like overhead lighting.
No, well, I've got a really bright light in my eye.
And this is my morning look, because my phone pinged at 10 to 10 and it said this is happening, and I'd completely forgotten. I mean, how can I forget? So yes, I haven't actually quite got dressed for my talk or done my hair or my face or anything yet.
Well, at least the reminder worked. The number of times I don't even respond to those. Yeah, I can sabotage.
I only saw because I happened to glance down at my phone. Otherwise, I would have missed it completely.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't. So this session would have been, the way we're going to do this, it would have been like this anyway. But obviously, the benefit of you being the only person here is effectively you're just getting one-to-one. So what we're going to do is a little bit of hypnosis. So before we go into that, let me just explore with you, because I never have before. Have you ever used or practiced any hypnotherapy of any description yourself?
I went and saw a woman once, and it was one session only. And I'm skeptical, I think, because I've never, you know, you see what you see on the movies, and I don't want you to make me walk around naked acting like a chicken. Obviously, that's not what you do, and I know that's not what it's about. I've been listening to your audios in the evening. Sometimes I'm awake right to the end, and sometimes I fall asleep during them, and that's as much as I know. But I am open to it, because I can understand. I see the benefit. I see the benefit of it.
Okay. Well, let me put into context, because so that you'll understand the way that we will structure these particular. So Friday, this will be the day where I mean, you're going to love it. I swear you're going to love it. You won't forget in future, because you'll be, oh, thank God, you know. So the way I personally do it, I coin it freestyle. How that differs, I mean, there's a million different types of, and people could pontificate for hours on hypnosis and beta waves and alpha waves and all kinds of delta waves, and I don't do any of that. I don't really care what waves we're talking about. What interests me and has always interested me is the power of the language that we use. So when I first qualified, what I was given, so what you've got on the recording, is a series of scripted stories that I'm just reading in a nice voice. And they do have impact. You know, I know hypnotherapists who do nothing but that, and they still get results with clients. So I'm not knocking it. But I know when we first spoke and you talked about how you'd not enjoyed guided meditations in the past because there's a part of you that's going, oh no, but it wouldn't be like that, but I wouldn't be here, but I wouldn't. And I thought, oh, you're going to get on. I think you'll get on with this. And this is how I ended up doing what I do. And I'll rationalize in a moment. I was exactly the same. I trained as a hypnotherapist, even though I was really skeptical about the whole process.
As you do.
As you do. I know. Why would you do that? I was interested, but thought, really? And the very first time we had a session, you know, there were 20 of us in the room at the same time. And the guy that trained us worked on scripts. That's what we were taught to do. So he read us a script, just got us to close our eyes, read a script. And I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, thinking like you were thinking, no, there wouldn't be flowers there. No, that's not where I put them. No, the garden doesn't look like that. No. And I felt like I was I've just got my eyes closed. Well, what's the big deal? I'm not doing it. And were people around me, I could hear snoring. There was someone like flopped on my shoulder. I thought, what the hell's going on here? And then he asked us when it was finished, he said, how long do you think that took? And that's where I began to think, hang on a minute, because people were going 5 minutes, 45 minutes, like the times were all over the place. And in my own head, I had a figure, and he told us how long it had been, and like 90% of us were wrong. I mean, really wrong. So he said, okay, that took 20 minutes. And some of us were saying it took 5, some were saying it took 45. And so I could see this time distortion was quite important. That demonstrated that even if we thought we were fully cognizant, fully there, that we weren't. So that was interesting. But what I now do, this freestyle scripting, is, you probably noticed just then when you were talking, like suddenly I'm looking down, I'm not looking at you.
Yeah.
I'm capturing notes. This is really important for me today, to capture notes rather than for you to capture notes. Okay. What I'm picking up on is things you talk about, phrases you use, language you use. I'm trying to pick up key elements that relate to you, so that when we do the hypnosis part, we'll do this roughly 50-50, and I will definitely finish on time. Don't worry about that. The fact that I will pick up and use your language instead of mine, and there's no particular direction. So I won't be saying to you, you will be feeling better tomorrow. Like there won't.
Yeah.
Won't be any of that.
Good.
But I'll just start to weave together language patterns. Like there's no structure to it. It just goes from here to there, to here to there. Because what I think we're doing, those language patterns, if you like, are the little buoys on the water that are connecting to all the stuff beneath the surface. And I don't know, and you don't know how they connect, but if I just start to use them, your brain starts following new pathways. Because it's doing it in a relaxed state. So it's automatically connecting to pleasurable connections rather than negative connections.
I love the idea. I think that's such a great idea. The language we use is very important. And that's why when you hear some guided visualizations through meditation or hypnotherapy, it feels so, it's kind of like you're bumping up against it, because it's not how you see things or how you would speak.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right, bumping up against things, because it's like a video. Stop. Yeah, you can't get the fullness of it. So that's what we'll be doing.
Oh, very exciting.
So we're a week in. Just talk me through, I know you've got your talks, so you've done one already. What have been the highlights of your week?
One of the highlights definitely was getting out to go work at the garden centre on Wednesday. It was a cold day, it rained most of the day, but I was so grateful to get out the house and to be surrounded by beautiful plants and smells and colours and so much greenery and open sky. And it was quiet because there aren't a lot of customers out at the moment, and it's easier to get on with the job. So I was really grateful. I came home really grateful on Wednesday for having that job. The other thing that's gone really well is that I have got up a bit earlier every day. And I've meditated in the morning every day. Very conscious of the discussion we had about putting my needs first. And I realized that that even pertains to the animals and not just my husband. Like, you know, even this morning, the dogs wanted big time cuddles and were all over me. And I was thinking, no, I want to drink my tea and I want to meditate. And today you're not going to sit on my lap. And normally I would always let them, because it's like having kids. You just, you know, you give over, you let them.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I want to do this on my own. So that was quite cool. I've enjoyed the meditations. And the other thing that was really good was I learned from my last talk I did, I was unprepared. And although the talk went very well and it was well received, it wasn't an enjoyable delivery on my part, because I do lose my concentration. I do forget what I'm saying. And I need to be more prepared when I'm in that state. So yesterday, I found index cards, or whatever they're called, and I wrote up all my key points, and I've got it plastered everywhere. And, you know, I can refer to it while I'm doing the talk today, as I did yesterday. And it was a much smoother delivery. And also, thank goodness, because I ended up speaking to a blank screen with only icons, and I think I saw a human face maybe once for 3 minutes. Nobody else wanted their videos on. When I asked for, you know, feedback or you know, join in the conversation, nobody wanted to, except twice, but like for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't been as prepared, I think that would have really derailed me, because it's really hard just speaking to a blank screen and staying upbeat and motivated for 60 minutes.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm a warrior. I can't believe I got through that.
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm saying it, that was pretty kick-ass, because normally you have people to bounce off, you know.
I know.
And when
the eye contact even.
All I had was 60 little round icons at the bottom of my screen with their initials on. That's what I saw.
I think on the English, the worst audiences ever when you're
Oh my God. Do you know, when I was at uni, which was only a few years ago, my tutors loved me because I talk and I ask questions, and I'm not worried about whether I don't understand or know something. I mean, I used to be, but I'm not. So I would always have my hand up. I would always sit in the front. I would always speak. And they often said to me, thank God.
Yeah.
For you, because all the naughty kids, I mean, I was 20 years older than everybody else, all the naughty kids sitting at the back on their phones, not even paying attention.
Yeah.
Now you need interaction. So yeah, well done me.
Yeah, well done you. I like it. I like it. So the highlight of that for you was which aspect? Was it that, which bit was the highlight?
What, of the whole week?
Yeah, and that talk in particular, but both.
Okay. The highlight of the talk, I think, was that I prepared in advance. And I mean, I've been through this before with a previous coach. She was the one who said to prepare. And I know I will leave things until the last minute or not be prepared, so that when it doesn't go well, I can say, well, I didn't prepare for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing that as I'm just speaking it now, I'm seeing that really, really clearly for the first time. If putting myself out there to prepare means I'm of worth, and I'm attaching my not self-worth to it, but I'm attaching my vulnerability to it. If I prepare and it doesn't go well, I kind of feel like I could handle that now, whereas before I just wouldn't prepare, so that if it went tits up, I'm not to blame.
That's cool. That's really powerful.
Yeah, that is. That's never happened before. Do you know, Shirley, I wrote down something this morning which I've never done in my life before. I realized in the last year or two, I kind of feel like my main issue is that I've never felt like I have agency, that I can, people speak about 5-10 year goals or something they want to do. I've never imagined something better, because I couldn't imagine ever getting something better, because how do you do it? And for the first time, and I've been reading up about agency, and for the first time today, I said that the realization that I do have agency, and that I can hope for a better future, and not better as in bigger, more materialistic, but a better future where I'm living aligned to my values, and aligned to the quirkiness that is me, because I'm not a normal person. Well, so my husband keeps on telling me. But
well, he obviously likes the fact that you're not.
No, he does.
Right.
Gosh, yeah.
Page here. I filled a page. I'm running out of space. I wish I had a bigger piece of paper. That's good.
I need to make a note of that as well, because I prepared. I mean, I really prepared, which is amazing. I mean, I do prepare for my workshops, but I've delivered them face to face in a group, and that's just easier because you have people to bounce off, but delivering online like this is different. Yeah, that's exactly it. I've never prepared before, so that I can always blame being unprepared. And that's why something didn't work out, or I didn't get more work, or it wasn't good, and actually it's always been fine. It's always been well received, but yeah, that's a big one.
Isn't it interesting how somewhere along the line there's been something that's said to you that you're not, you shouldn't actually be, you shouldn't shine that much, or you shouldn't succeed to that level, or you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a phrase that springs to my mind, that may just be me, of people like me, or people like us.
Yeah. And I can see how, especially in South Africa at the time, early 70s, 80s, growing up, it was a very male-dominated patriarchal society, very Christian, a religious society. My father was very religious and very strict. I get all my bounce from my mum, and she was suppressed.
Mm.
You know, that part of her was suppressed all the time. Yeah, it's interesting.
Mm. Mm.
Never had the opportunity to be as loud as I wanted to, or to shine, I suppose.
Mm. Mm. Well, you have now. That's what we're going to work on. Right. In terms of your scale, I know you put it in the group. Where do you feel like it is at the moment?
I'm thinking about it too much, but I want to say 7.
Okay. Go with what feels right. It's fine.
Which is interesting, because even with, you know, the doubt that is still there, but it's like you said earlier, the door has opened a bit and I've seen what's on the other side. And for the first time in my life, I'm realizing that it is possible and that I can get through that door, and it's going to take work, but I can do the work. I can handle it.
Yeah.
I am capable of doing the work. It's not just for everybody else, but I can do it as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Huge realizations this morning. Cool.
So if you were 8, let's say this afternoon, like you do, or tomorrow, doesn't matter when. In fact, let's say tomorrow, because you might just think, oh, it'll be because the talk's gone really well. But tomorrow you wake up and you realise you're an 8. What are the key differences as you imagine that now that would tell you I'm an 8?
That's still shaky ground for me, because I think maybe I would feel at 8, but only if somebody at the end of the talk, or I got an email later today, said that was awesome, amazing, I loved it. Validation basically outside of myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am trying not to be attached to good or bad. I do feel better when I get praise, and when everybody likes me and loves me and I'm the star of the show. And when I'm not, that has historically always been a problem. And it's only now that I'm learning to hold my worth up, regardless of whether it goes well or not today. Do you know what I mean? If I completely bomb this afternoon, in theory, that shouldn't affect the way I feel about myself, but at this stage it still does and will.
So does that mean that if you were an 8 tomorrow,
it would be based on outside validation?
And I get that, but let me just take to what you just said. It may be, at the moment you perceive it as based on external validation, but maybe being an 8 would actually be that today could or could not go well, but you still wake up feeling like you can do this, whatever this is. You still can shine.
Yes, so this is where the door analogy comes in. I'm hoping to hold on to how I'm feeling today and what I've written down this morning, that I have agency. But I know from experience that, you know, we fluctuate I fluctuate in how I feel, and I don't feel like I have a firm grip on my agency and my self-worth. Basically, that's it. I don't feel like I have a firm grip. There's always a very good chance, and there is at the moment still 75% chance that it's just going to slip out my hands, which will make me panic, I know, and then I need to scramble back and try and do everything in my power to grab onto it again. But that feels very grabby and desperate. I want to get to a stage where it's more of a knowing, it resonates within me, and that's what I'm working towards, I suppose. I don't have that
But
resonate.
what's really powerful about what you're sharing, even though you may not realize it yet, so I'm just going to reflect it back to you, is that you're identifying where it wouldn't quite be what you want, that you're identifying that you wouldn't have a firm grip, that you would feel that you were scrambling and grabbing. And so if you just flip that and go, how would it really feel to be an 8 or a 9? You just flip it and go, well, I would let go of the feeling that I'm scrambling and grabbing and having no agency. And then you just gently kind of ask your mum, well, what does that look like then? What does not scrambling and not grabbing and not having agency look like? Then you
I've come at it from the other direction, haven't I? I've explained to you why I wouldn't feel an 8, or if I did feel an 8, or the negative connotations around that.
Yeah.
Whereas really your question was, if I was an 8, what would that mean? And flipping it to a positive. Yeah.
That's
I can
right.
see how I've done that. Yeah.
But you can still find the route through the negative back into the place that you want it to be, just by initially identifying it and go, okay, so I know what it doesn't look like. So that gives me a clue. If I know what it doesn't look like, that gives me a whole load of evidence of all the different things it could look like.
Absolutely. I love that. And that 8 would then be that I wake up and I feel a strong sense of agency and hope.
Yes.
I mean, hope is such a big one that I've really been thinking about this last year. I don't think I've ever had hope, which is probably why I feel like I've never had any agency. You know, and I've been reading up on agency. Hope is kind of the first step, then you get faith, and then you get like a real knowing. And I feel like I'm so far away from that, but I definitely am on the route, on the road to that knowledge. So 8 would feel like I have hope. 8 would feel like I have agency, and regardless of the circumstances, I can handle this. And regardless of the circumstances, I can forge a path for myself.
Yeah.
In alignment with who I am and my needs and my desires, that will be fulfilling and challenging.
So that's lovely. So you've got a sense of how you'd feel. You've got a sense of a pathway.
Can I quickly run to the loo?
Of course you can. Yeah.
I've had too much tea.
Right. So I'm just going to say one more thing. You don't have to overthink this. and then I'm going to let you're going to get the opportunity to relax. So it's a good job you've been to the loo.
Good.
So the final thing, based on just following on from what you just said, so you have a sense of how you like to feel, what the pathway might look like. So the next thing you want to consider, don't overwork this now or ever, is what do I do when I feel like that? So we move it from a feeling into, so when I feel like that, what do I do that I'm not doing now? And you've already got some clues that you've found already, I think, when you talked about being prepared for your talks. And so that's, I just want to leave that there. That's the next piece, because once we can move from feeling to doing, what otherwise what happens, what we tend to do, we get locked in the feeling space, and we're kind of almost at the whim of our feelings. Like, do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Do I feel positive? Do I feel agency? Do I feel? Feelings are great. Feelings are our navigational system. But if we don't know how they connect to what we do, we're still governed by them instead of feeling the agency over them. And that makes it sound like control your feelings, which is not it at all. It's just observing, because there will be a difference that we're not very good at observing. That when we feel one way, we do certain things that we're oblivious to. And when we feel another way, we do different things that we're oblivious to. So it's just becoming more mindful in the way you've identified with your talks of, oh, that's interesting. When I felt like this, I felt better. Or when I felt better, I did this. So there's the two are connected. So there's always a root. This is when we feel trapped in our emotions, because it's not easy to control emotions. But when we understand there's a connection with actions, sometimes we can affect the emotion with the action.
Yeah. And I suppose because motivation doesn't always come easily, it's understanding that doing this particular thing, like preparing, the end result will be a much more enjoyable delivery for me. So even though maybe today I don't feel like doing the preparations involved, instead of thinking I should do the preparations, maybe focus on how it's going to feel once I've done them, which might make me feel more prone to doing what needs to be done. Does that make sense? Yeah,
it may be. But for now, I just wanted to drop it. Like, we've got plenty of time. There's no need to overthink it, but it's just like the next step along is where we'll be going. Right, I want to give you some time for this. So all you need to do is get yourself nice and comfortable. So you can either stay sitting where you are, or you can sit on that nice chair behind you, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I think I might move to there. That's where I'll meditate.
That looks like the perfect spot. And you don't have to leave the video on, because...
Oh, okay. As long as I can hear you.
Yeah. Right, can you hear me where you're sitting?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right then. So this is the first time we've done this together, but you've done meditation, you've listened to the recording. So this will become familiar. So all you need to do right now is probably what you're already doing, even though I can't see you, just sitting comfortably in the chair. Just finding that meditative spot that you're familiar with. It's always good to start somewhere you're familiar with. Just how you're sitting, maybe becoming aware of your body and where you rest your hands and your head and your feet planted, just gently, firmly on the floor. Maybe aware in that meditative sense of the sensation of your body and the connection with the chair, how it feels. And you might be wondering how this could be different to meditation or similar. Maybe wondering whether my voice will dramatically change at some point, that I might slip into something so much slower. But there again, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter whether you pay close attention to every word that I say or none. It doesn't matter whether there are distractions in your space or my space, sounds that may occur, sensations, feelings, light shifting. So to begin with, you might wander, and thoughts will wander in too, backwards and forwards. But those thoughts are thoughts you're prepared for. Sometimes they scramble, but that's normal. Scrambling thoughts, bumping up against one another. But as you gradually just allow yourself to connect with your body, aware of whether it feels light or heavy, whether it could feel lighter or heavier, what feels good. And maybe becoming curious about the way words dance and have multiple meanings and connections, like light. The light falling through the window, the lightness in your body. Allow yourself to simply be. Momentarily the star of this particular show, consciously or unconsciously congratulating yourself. Well done, you. With no particular reason other than being relaxed or even not relaxed, just sitting quietly. And in this way, you effortlessly prepare. And from time to time, your mind could become a blank screen or a scramble of thoughts. But whatever you notice, as you allow yourself to simply be aware, this is your show and you are the star. And maybe you begin just by being grateful for that. Or perhaps your thoughts wander to greenery and open skies and the light there too, or the quiet. Allow yourself to dive deep into the quiet, not necessarily listening to your own thoughts or the sound of my voice or anything other than the quiet, and allowing the colours to dance too. Perhaps the greenery of open space, of flowers, or just light. And allow yourself to ease into this space, just gently holding on and then letting go. Discovering the pleasure of moving from one thought to another without a firm grip, just a soft and gentle, easy transition. Allowing thoughts, conscious thoughts, to slip out of your hands, out of your mind, and maybe allow yourself to explore your own quirkiness, to celebrate that with gratitude, to allow that quirkiness to begin to forge this path of alignment with fulfillment and challenges. And some of those transitions are smoother as the alignment becomes clearer with your better future. Allow yourself to be prepared, but also to imagine something better. at the same time as celebrating and diving into the gratitude. Thank goodness for this space, surrounded by light, allowing yourself to shine, surrounded by the beauty and the starlit beauty, the quirkiness plastered all around within your mind, and the colors and the light, and perhaps your thoughts that shine a light on your quirkiness and your values and you and your needs are displayed on a series of index cards that float through like trains coming into a station. And you realize there is little need for concentration here. Nothing derails your thoughts. You allow yourself to simply set out. Color, imagination, alignment. And suddenly you realize that in this space where you simply allow the thoughts to bump up against one another and the sound, sometimes loud, sometimes quiet, connecting your quirkiness, reminding you of how you can do the work, whatever the work is, you can handle it, whatever it is, because you are more aligned to your values. You realize that you've moved beyond hope to agency. And maybe take a moment to hold on to that thought of agency. You do have agency, and maybe to let go, to allow it to bounce off, to bump up against hope again, your firm grip on the agency that is aligned with your values and your needs and your quirkiness, forging that path of alignment and your agency and sense of it, and all the thoughts and the imaginations and the feelings and the actions suddenly appear like index cards before you, tiny icons reflecting. But rather than chaos and confusion, there's ease here. As you are the star of this show, you hold your own worth and congratulate yourself on the light that shows you up in your delightful, magnificent, glorious, noisy, quirky, aligned pathway that challenges you to do more on your terms. You can do this on your own or with others. You can give over. You can let them free. Thoughts bouncing off one another, one to the next, creating so many different magnificent pathways, some like open sky or greenery. Maybe your thoughts travel to the flowers and the myriad of colors and shapes and forms in their exquisite perfection and delicacy and quirkiness, each tiny flower forging its own path of alignment. And sometimes you feel that sense of desire to kick ass when your agency is strong and powerful, and yet aligned fully, deeply. Right there at the heart of you, the gratitude shines through from the very core. Thank goodness. Gratitude is surrounded by hope, by agency, by alignment, by imagination, by beauty and color. And there is no scrambling or grabbing. You're prepared and enjoying, just allowing yourself to be the star of this show, to be validated by lightness, by noise and loudness, or quietness. choosing to hold on or to let go, to maintain a firm grip on your needs, or just ease into something. You can put your hand up to what you choose, setting out a blank screen or a set of index cards and icons, discovering in this place of chaos there is actual calm and clarity, simply by allowing all the beautiful thoughts and the open sky and the quiet and the beauty and the noise aligned to you and your quirkiness and your values to bounce off and kick ass and be quiet or loud, whatever you choose in your gratitude, congratulating yourself with your agency, plastered all around in the light and the movement and the feeling good, validated, congratulating yourself consciously or unconsciously. Well done, you. For the first step on your own pathway, the open space, coloured in your own quirky, beautifully aligned way. The transition smoother than you ever imagined, more prepared than ever. Imagining something better, and yet delighting in how beautiful it is right now, aligned and ready, and each moment as beautiful as the last and more so. So take your time realizing that you still don't have to listen, and it really didn't matter if you didn't hear a single word I said, but simply allowed yourself to wander, setting out on your own journey, your pathway. Or whether you have listened to every word, it doesn't matter either way. Whether you've listened, whether you've relaxed, whether every word has landed or none. Just allow yourself to be grateful for you, to hold on to yourself and your worth and your value, validated now, star of your own show. And when you're ready, take your time before slowly, very slowly, opening your eyes and moving back to the desk. But take your time.
Oh my goodness, that was lovely.
Good.
That was so good. I want a recording of that. I want to listen to that every day.
Oh, well, I'll post the recording in the group.
Wow.
In the group that is us.
That was really lovely. That's such a different, getting a bit cold. That's such a different experience hearing your own language that means something to you. That is, I've never experienced that before. Thank you. I'm really blown away. Really blown away by that. That's incredibly powerful. And I did listen to every word because that's how I roll. You know, I wanted to hear every word, but and then right at the end when you said it really didn't matter whether I did or I didn't, and that there's nothing to do, just to be, that was the cherry on the cake. That was beautiful. It was so nice to know I don't have to panic and now I have to work hard and do things. I don't have to do anything with that. I just had to hear it or not hear it. I just had to be and still wonder at my wonderful self, or however you put it. but that not being and having and not no expectations of myself was really freeing and lovely. You know, I suppose, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just that, you know, we are worthy. I am worthy just for being. I don't have to be. I don't have to prove. I don't have to. Yeah, there was something about that last little line that was very powerful that I didn't expect.
Good. Good.
Really lovely, really lovely. You should be very proud of yourself. That's fucking amazing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I do it because I enjoy doing it, and it makes it more interesting for me. And I'm glad you said that, because that's the reason I do it that way.
Is that how you've been doing your hypnotherapy always? Or have you just changed it recently?
Oh no, I've been doing it like this for a long time. I did you know, when I first qualified and I was nervous and I don't know what I'm doing.
Script.
You know, I hung on to my scripts for dear life.
Of course. Yeah.
But no, I think within a couple of years there were a couple of things. It wasn't as fulfilling for me, but also I just had this sense, and I read some books about someone that did things differently. And then I just started to turn it in my own mind, and I thought,
It's beautiful. You're amazing. You was so seamless and lovely, and I'm really impressed. And it's a beautiful. I never knew that was an option in hypnotherapy, that you know, that they could divert from the script. That's really powerful.
Well, not many people do.
Yeah, because I would imagine that's quite hard to do. It's much easier reading from a script, but you are obviously talented and able to do it very well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad. So I didn't lie to you at the beginning, did I? I said you won't forget 10 o'clock on a Friday anymore.
No, gosh, that's lovely. Yeah.
And now you can see the difference with, I mean, it'd be similar, but if there were a group, it would be a little bit diluted, because I would be trying to weave in something.
Yeah, no, I've hit the jackpot here. I'm so lucky, and I'm very aware of it. I'm very aware of it.
I mean, it's all down to my own lack of getting my arse into gear, but I'm delighted, and it's really a joy working with you. So it's very nice. So I'm mindful it's 1 minute to 11. You've got to go.
Oh yes, I've got to go.
Yeah, and I did pause when you went to the loo. So actually, I can upload this as 2 recordings, so you will pretty much get the hypnosis bit as a separate thing. So
all right, super. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get that. All right, well, good luck with it. Not that you'll need it, and I hope you enjoy it.
I will do. I'm going to enjoy it even more. Thank you, and I'll speak to you on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll do. All right then.
All right, Shirley. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.